Welcome back. Echoing Green empowers almost 1,000 leaders to launch impactful social enterprises, providing them with the necessary support and networks to reshape systems for a fairer society. The Inner City Green Team is a sustainable and scalable recycling initiative located within NYCHA, prioritizing job creation and environmental protection. Here now joining me is the founder of the Inner City Green Team, Brigitte Charlton-Vicenty. Brigitte, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. It's great to meet you.
Now, how has Echoing Green been instrumental in supporting and nurturing emerging social entrepreneurs?
When I say Echoing Green and think Echoing Green, they were the first fellowship entrepreneurs, the fellowships that support entrepreneurs. They were the first ones that took the chance on Inner City Green Team, and it's they say it's harder it's harder to get in inner city green team, I mean in echoing green, than it is to get in Harvard. The application process is strenuous and challenging, and being part of the cohort and having membership there is, it just makes me so proud. It's not just this fellowship, is that they support us, of course, financially and with resources, but most of all, they support the person, and um, and largely focuses on our well-being to make sure we're good to be in those trenches, mentally and spiritually, to do this work.
Well, I love that you talked about like how they say that it's harder to get into this program than Harvard. So with that, I want to say congratulations for kind of making that step. Now, as a fellow, how has it shaped your approach to sustainability and community development?
It's just a soft place to fall when you have organizations that support your work and believe in your work just as much as you do. It's so validating uh, to have that type of support, and it helps me continue the work without so much continue to work in and not feel like I'm alone.
Now, could you share more about the mission and goals of the Inner City Green Team and its impact on the community?
Well, Inner City Green Team's mission is to cultivate environmental awareness, create green collar jobs, and improve civic engagement in NYCHA communities. We've really, our priority is to provide collar jobs for NYCHA for NYCHA residents, and to really provide a system of behavior change activities, and just empower residents to know that they can do something. Some people feel like, they hear so much about the environment and they feel like they can't do anything, but we provide the education, and we have outreach programs that really let residents know and feel that they can be impactful in the communities where they live.
Now, I'm really glad that you mentioned that because I wanted to talk about uh, basically how does the organization uh, basically take a unique service-based approach and contribute that to behavior change and increase recycling rates.
Right. So one of the what we call our white glove service is the door-to-door recycling collection. We provide recycling collection services for residents on a weekly basis. We give them a recycling kit with bags, green and blue bags, and literature to reinforce the behavior. And on a weekly basis, we go to their door to collect the recyclables, and they've a lot of residents are just really engaged in this when they see how it's really a simple process, and we make it simple and convenient. And uh, we say that you can recycle in your underwear because you just put your materials in the bags that are provided, and you just set it out on a day that is scheduled. So people don't feel intimidated or feel like they don't know what they're doing because we're always there to reinforce the behavior.
Now, I understand that for NYCHA, recycling rates have been historically low. How do you address the challenges faced by NYCHA in increasing recycling participation?
We again with the outreach, we have a outreach program, and that is the way we meet residents where they are. It takes funding to do this, and we ask for the support of the city, and the ultimate goal is to be part of the city's waste management budget. So it's consistent outreach, outreach. It's like we have a family there now. We've been there since July 2021, and I've made some really good friends, and it's just the community is really open and accepting to this. So we do our part, and they are doing their part, and we have to continue to just keep working on other residents that may not be interested in doing it, but eventually through our green ministry is what I call it. Through our green ministry, that's where we're here to convert minds and body to have more greener thoughts.
And I think that's amazing because I think that for a lot of people, especially people who may live in apartment buildings, they don't really think about recycling, or it's just something that that happens that the other people do. Maybe in your own experience, is this something that you like tell your friends about, your family about? Like, do you feel that like you kind of because of this work that it kind of extended into other circles?
Oh yes, they know. They try to tease me, but it's like they know that I'm doing the right thing. But I get teased about it a lot. It's like, okay, oh, here come the recycling lady. Don't you put that in there? Don't you make sure you know? So it just overflow. It's just it's who I am. I've been an environmentalist since I was a little girl when I discovered when I was brought to upstate New York to see the foliage and just the magnificence of all this beauty. It just took me, and I always wanted to protect. So, yeah, I get teased for it, but it's I could take the jokes. I can take it.
And I love that this is being brought to a community like NYCHA, because I think that there are so many people that probably care, but maybe they just don't think they have the resources, or it's something that they don't really need to do. So I love that you're kind of bringing that energy and that spirit to that community. Now, what challenges did you face in advocating for the right to recycle, and how did you overcome them to create and bring positive change?
It was a challenge. We've been at this since 2011. We've been established since 2011. So um, it was a lot of pushback, at the administration at the time. I've always seemed to be way ahead of my time when it comes to my ideas, and they just weren't ready. Although recycling had been the law since 1989, there just was no solution put into trying to solve the recycling issue. We were thought to believe that we were recycling because there were bins that were placed out there, but my moment of obligation when I realized that the recycling was being thrown in the trash, and I wanted to know why, and it's just took on a life, and through perseverance and insistence and trying to get my program implemented, here we are.
Now, I want to highlight, we're talking about being green, and another green that the organization helps with is, helping people make money and actually like create jobs, which is so important because I think that regardless of what you do, whether you like it or not, everybody needs to make a living. And your organization actually helps with that. So can you talk a little bit more about that effort and how you actually, help to create jobs for NYCHA residents?
Well, the idea, the proposal initially was to find an easy, convenient way for residents to recycle, and why not, hire niche residents to do that. So with the door to door, it's um, it's been a great and approachable strategy to to help build up the program. The residents, we have 5 NYCHA residents on our team, and they do recycling outreach, and then they also they do the collection. So as we continue, it's that's our goal. That's part of our mission to hire NYCHA residents to address the high um, unemployment rates in NYCHA, and also get them possibly they'll be social, entrepreneurs in the future. But this is again part of the mission, and how we let me say how we can prevent agencies from saying no. Like, well, look at all of these wonderful benefits. How can you say no to this? And why would you say no?
Now, how does this actually create community empowerment? And I want to like take it a little bit further and also like kind of boost the morale of living in certain neighborhoods, because I think that when we talk about certain neighborhoods, there's always a stigma associated with it, and people have these ideas that they think people who live in these areas have. How does it actually encourage people to kind of have a little bit more pride or feel a little bit just more empowered in their community?
People feel like they can do something about it. It's just the opportunity is given to them. A lot of the time since I was growing up, there were a lots and lots of resources, that probably was the reason why I am the person that I am today, that were in these communities. So when being able to provide something like this to a community that doesn't to other New Yorkers that don't even get this service, to be able to provide this white glove service to residents, that encouraged them to say that somebody cares, someone's out there fighting a good fight, and are concerned about our issues as well.
Now, you and the Inner City Green team have received recognition for your work, including winning the NYC and CoLab Challenge. How have these acknowledgments impacted this team's work and mission? And, can you also talk about what motivates you, or does this motivate you to keep going?
Absolutely. It's just putting in my efforts. The NYC Collab Challenge was the initial competition that helped us implement the pilot at Brownsville, Brooklyn, at the Brownsville houses in 2018. So we had there was a rapid response. Residents responded, and it was well received. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, so can you just talk about how have this acknowledgement just impacted your work, and how it also just motivates you to keep going?
Yes, validation is everything. Recognition is everything. We did win the collab challenge, that helped us pilot the program to prove that this could work, and it did work, and it was very successful. And of course, getting being in these fellowships with Echoing Green, the Canal Foundation, and a few more. We just received another award from the Northeast Recycling Council, and received another award a couple of weeks ago as a community hero. So it just lets us know, like, you're doing a good job. Don't stop. Keep it up. We're here for you. And it's anything that you need. It's like we're here to support you. So like with anyone, just knowing that you have a soft place to fall is keeps me going.
Well, I also want to say congratulations of on just having your work being received well from your peers and people who are looking at it. I think that's amazing. Now, you've accomplished so much. What are your future aspirations for the organization?
Well, of course, to expand to all NYCHA developments, increase, the employment rates for NYCHA residents, and to, find other ways to increase our revenue streams. We currently are participating with a plastic salvage company where our materials are processed. We collect and process the materials, and we sell them back to them. It's very important to try to be sustainable in this nonprofit world. So the whole idea is to be able to collect many materials, not just metals, glass, plastic, or cardboard. We want to create a zero waste system where we're removing everything. There's a place for everything. There's a place for it to go. The e-waste, which is against the law to dispose of in New York City. Those are the televisions and electronic products, and also textiles, and down to batteries, corks, whatever that across us, across comes across to us. We know that there's a place for it to go, and if there's no place, then it must go to the landfill. We know we tried everything to make sure that it could be reused, repaired, recycled.
So I want to thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation. I feel like it also inspired me to do a little bit more in regards to just being more sustainable and eco-friendly. Because I think a lot of us, we want to be that way, and sometimes it could feel overwhelming along with all the things that we do in life. But I will say that I was inspired definitely to look a little bit more, and that it doesn't matter like where you're from or like what's around you, like you can kind of make that difference. So I want to thank you so much for joining us and talking about it. And I also love that you said this was something that you always liked, even since you were like, a little girl. So thank you so much for sharing your story and kind of encouraging and inspiring our community to do a little bit more for our planet.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. The more people talk about my baby, I must be doing something right.
So thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Take care. Stay green.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.